Hello, you're live with ArchieLuxury, ArchieLuxury on the ArchieLuxury channel. Today we're discussing the United Airlines disaster. This is where they dragged a physically fit with brute force, they dragged a doctor off an overbook. Well, it wasn't overbooked. They wanted to put United crew onto an aircraft. It's one of the most dumb, stupid things you could think of. And it's had huge legal and PR disasters. I'm joined by one of America's leading lawyers, Clyde. How are you, Clyde?
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it, but no. I practice in Oklahoma. I practice primarily criminal defense and family law. Literally, you're asking questions about the Pope's kidneys to a podiatrist. But I have kept up with it somewhat.
Hey, you know more about the law than me. I still believe in stoning. Now, Clyde, this absolute disaster, this thing with United Airlines, I wanted to ask you, what do you think of Dr. Doe's defense? He's employed a real top legal firm.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed in the hospital for as long as possible. He's having surgeries. He's extracting every bit of pain and agony he possibly can. What do you think of his chances of getting money out of these corporate American fuckers?
Well, you basically need two components, and that's liability,
which they've admitted to.
And then damages. So, and the funny part is that how completely news organizations have missed it. They're talking about places in United's contract about how they can deplane someone for just about any and all circumstances.
Yes.
And instead, but that's completely the opposite. Newsweek actually did an interesting article where they actually read the contract. And so when they're talking about bumping someone from a plane, that's where you've got your ticket. You're getting ready to go through the gate or stand in line,
yep.
Go through the gate, and they stop you and say, "Well, sorry, can't let you on. We're not going to let you board the plane." But even United's own contract, it's very, very specific about the circumstances under which someone can be taken off the plane. So, I mean, it was almost so pro United at the very beginning, but you can only take someone off the plane if they're a danger to themselves or others, a nuisance, or preventing the safe operation of the aircraft. Once you're on the plane, once you're boarded, it's like, once you're in, you're in. They have, and under those unless it's those very limited exceptions, they have no right to take you off the plane.
I see. So what does this mean? Why didn't they exercise? Why weren't they more nice about this then? Why did they physically drag the fucker off?
Well, you have to keep it real. And the other thing which I'm kind of wondering about is everyone's a little bit nebulous about the airport, the people that actually did it. And I just have a little personal first-hand knowledge. My ex was a civilian employee of the Oklahoma City Police Department, and the listener talking about the OCPD's contingent at, in our case, Will Rogers World Airport. Oklahoma City Police has officers there, and some are peace officers, police certified.
Yeah.
And some are just civilian technicians who wear police getup, but have really no more power than the average citizen to make a citizen's arrest.
Yes.
So where those group fits into is going to be really, really interesting.
Because these air marshals, these actually weren't police. These were just air marshals, and they had very limited powers. These weren't police officers who dragged them off. These were air marshals. And it's a very, very, very interesting thing. Do you think the White House commenting on this is good or bad for United's case?
Well, from the little bit I've read, keep in mind we have a president that can't stay off Twitter, so I may have only just caught one or two of them. It's almost very, very non-committal, like, oh, this is a shame. It's a pity this happened. It looks like the president is not taking one side or the other, except to just regret that it happened in general. So, but also, Dr. Doe could be looking at suing, what I've been reading, it looks like it's some sort of branch of the Chicago Police Department, not just quote unquote air marshals. So he might have another defendant to sue as well.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. That's very, very true indeed. Do you think that was a good idea for Dr. Doe to lawyer up with some of the nastiest, vicious lawyers in town? Was that a good idea, Clyde? Would you recommend that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Because he's made no statement himself, has he? He's made no public statement since this ordeal.
Probably under the advice of counsel. But he did make statements during the altercation with the people taking him off the airplane. I will sue you. But since then, it sounds like his attorneys are doing a great job at managing the facts and managing the client. The worst thing he could do is go off half-cocked and say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. So
yes, that lawyer who's representing him, Thomas Demetrio, he's apparently known to be an absolute ruthless cunt.
Well, the nice thing is I saw the press conference he gave, and more or less the interesting observation is it's like, he's practicing his opening statement for the jury.
Yes.
And I think it's a very effective opening statement.
He came across as very level-headed, very polite, very... I thought his argument was quite good.
Well, I think our good doctor is going to have to change the spelling of his name to D-O-U-G-H.
How much do you reckon he'll get? I've sort of said 10 million plus from United, plus I think he'll get another $1 million for his first interview, plus I think he'll get a job with a competitor airline just to poke fun at United, probably another 1 to 2 million. What's your...
No, I think the big question is going to be punitive damages.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the big money is going to come from. The economic damages, keep in mind, seems like his medical career, he's already 69. Because of some personal problems in the past, he's already been had his credentials taken away, his license to practice medicine.
He's still allowed to practice. He can practice
a little bit. It's 1 day a week, though. That's going to be lifted next year. On the other hand, the guy is 69 years old. So it's not like he's got a whole lot of life left in him. It's not like he's got a whole lot of practice left in him. One of the things also talking about in the article concerning him is that they kind of felt his procedures were a little bit antiquated and outdated. So before they fully license him, I imagine they would probably examine that in further detail.
Tell me this, do you think his little bit of a problem he had in the past, I don't want to dwell too much on that because that's United shitfire where they're trying... Do you think that will work against him?
It's not really United. They're getting the blame for it, but it was actually the hometown newspaper, actually, after seeing the viral footage, dredged it up because it's just like, hey, is that the same guy we've been talking about for the last year? Now, United obviously would probably make use of it, and I think they're certainly going to get blamed for it as well. But again, the great irony is probably it wasn't United dredging this stuff. It was the hometown newspaper.
So do you think that will work against him? What's your honest opinion on that?
It could work against him for economic damages, but what he did in the past has nothing to do with how he was treated on that airplane.
Okay.
You don't have you take your plaintiffs as you find them, but it doesn't matter what he did. He didn't have to be manhandled and injured the way he was. But punitive damages is, I think, where the bulk of it will come from. They'll also look at United's profit and loss statements, look at how grievous the injuries were, and how badly how grossly negligent their conduct was. And likewise, and I think you could probably have another revenue stream after going up to the Chicago Police Department.
I believe they're already making inquiries along those lines. They definitely are pursuing that.
But you're asking what would cause them to do that. You know, you have to keep in mind, I'm not sure about Australia, but in a lot of places here in the United States, our police are heavily militarized. You know, I'm sure you've probably watched Andy Griffith and Mayberry RFD. And it's not Sheriff Andy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our police departments increasingly have firepower and training as military forces. And in a lot of ways, I almost think the police, especially in big cities, they act like they're an occupying force in the middle of an enemy territory. It doesn't take much for the police to go bananas.
What would you have said? What should Dr. Odo have said to them when they tried to take him off? You legally do not have any right to remove me in your clauses. Is that what he should have said to them?
Yes. And well, and the other thing is might have to do with how much of his injuries were caused by struggling against the officers. Now, if the injuries happened when he escaped the officers, ran back on the plane, were dragged out again,
mm-hmm.
that could be seen as contributing to his own. You have a duty to minimize your own.
Tell me this: do you think when they had the CEO of United, Oscar Munez, whatever his name is, yes, when the reporter said, "Is Dr. Doe to blame? Is he wrong in any way?" and they really pressed him, and the CEO said, "Of course not. How can he? He was a paid passenger." Will that admission by the CEO work against United in any court case?
It wouldn't, because unless they try to go back in subsequent pleadings and try to deny liability. Yeah, it's not necessarily. I mean, it's not a clear-cut. I don't know how big of a clear-cut admission of guilt it is, but it sounds like under the circumstances, liability should not be a problem, or establishing liability of United, certainly.
Do you think it'll go to trial, or do you think it'll be settled out of court? What's your gut feel on this?
Well, keep in mind, I've been reading some figures that this has already cost United $1 billion. You know, $1 billion.
Yes.
So I think they will get the checkbook out as quickly as they can, and you know, it'll be somewhere between 7 and 8 figures, and they probably won't think twice doing it.
I see.
The longer this goes on, the worse it will be for United.
How quickly could they settle it? Could they write a check tomorrow and say, "Here, Dr. Doe, here's a check for you," or solved?
Well, you generally don't want to do anything like that until the injuries are completed, because there might be complications or further injuries later on.
If there's enough zeros on the figure, it doesn't fucking matter, does it?
Or put in a rider that we will take care of your injuries for the next, you know, so many months or so many years.
Yes. So you're thinking it won't go to trial?
Well, it depends how aggressive the plaintiff's attorney is, and how unintelligent United's attorneys are. Ideally, well, and there's a good possibility it might be settled on the courthouse steps.
Yes.
Which happens with a large number of cases.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Tell me this, Clyde. You viewed it. Are you proud to be an American after seeing this footage? This is the sort of behavior we'd expect out of North Korea, out of Russia. Are you proud to be an American when you see one of the corporate greats like United treat customers like this? How do you feel as an American?
Well, I don't. It could have happened to anyone on the flight, and that's why I think would be the. That's why I think punitive damages by jury. No one who flies loves to fly. I think anyone on the jury that's taken a plane trip in the last, 20 years would love the opportunity to stick it to United, to punish them for their conduct, just to make absolutely sure you better not think about doing this to me. Make it hurt enough now, they'll change their behavior tomorrow.
Tell me this, if you were on the plane, would you have refused to go, or when they started dragging you off, you would have probably left?
That's a hypothetical. Well, and like I said, a nice thing about being a big boy is it would take, even if I were to just do passive resistance and let them drag me off like a, I don't know, Occupy Wall Street protester, it would take a few of them to do so.
Yes.
So I don't think I would resist or fight the police.
No,
because
it's never a good idea to do that, really, is it? Except in Dr. Doe's case, where I think this has been a textbook example. You know what I think is going to happen from this case? One thing America's going to learn. See, society has it's like artificial intelligence. It learns things over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think what you're going to see happen is in America, whenever there are more situations where, excuse me, sir, we want you off, people are going to become far more aggressive because they say, hey, this could be payday. I'll milk this for what I can get.
But they have to be careful and keep in mind, United, one of the first things they're going to do is probably amend the terms and conditions of the contract. So they could, if it hasn't been done already. And so instead of saying, apply the provisions to boarding, to pre-boarding, to boarding itself.
Yep.
Now, so if they haven't done already, their attorneys need to be slapped.
So, but do you think this is going to stand as a case where, people are going to exploit this? When corporate America behaves like a dick, people are going to exploit it for every chance they can?
True, but on the other hand, if they become belligerent or disruptive themselves, and that would give the airline cause to pull them off the airline.
Well, they did.
I think
the CEO, the CEO did say he was belligerent. He did say that to start with, but he seemed to have changed his tune for some reason. What made the difference? Why did he change his tune?
Probably the CEO has a computer and can log on to YouTube. When there's plenty of, you can hear the audio tape quite frankly, just him firmly saying, not belligerently, not just assertively, not aggressively, I'm not going to go. I'm a doctor. I have patients tomorrow. I'm not going to go with you. Sorry.
Yes. So, he wasn't swearing. He wasn't cussing. He was just saying, I'm not going to go. I've got patients to see.
Right. And like you said, it remains of the liability of the police. Now, when in a criminal context, a lot of police behavior is excused if they're acting in good faith, but I'm not exactly sure how that would.
Well, these weren't even police. These were air marshals. They weren't police. These were just hired goons.
Well, then again, we don't know that. We can make guesses, but then again, like I said, with my local airport, the airport police, some are actually police, and other are civilian police employees acting as security guards. And a lot of times you have to know what you're doing and take a good hard look at the badge to see the different badges or very subtle changes in the uniform.
Yes, I certainly agree with you. Tell me this, Clyde. Have you ever flown United yourself?
No, unfortunately, I booked a trip to Pittsburgh right before this happened. So I will be flying United very soon.
And I mean, this has been said that it's not only United, any of the airlines this could have happened to.
Right.
And these air marshals are like hired goons. It's just so revolting how corporate America treats its customers. And this is the land of the free. This is the country you want to make great again. Well, you know, you shouldn't really rough up fare-paying passengers, Clyde. I'm sorry. It's just not a good look.
Well, it's not a good look. And I think a lot of times that I think might be, if it goes that far, there might be 12 people sitting in a jury box in Chicago who had felt mistreated and disabused by the airlines, might have something to say about it.
I got to be honest with you. I've got to be completely honest with you. Oscar Moniz, the CEO of United, I think his career is very, very, it's going to be very limited. He's a fucking cunt. I really think that son of a bitch has to go. The son of a bitch needs to go. He is fucking corporate poison. I think United needs to give him the ass. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the ass within the next year or two.
Well, I think at the very least, it'll probably cost him some money, performance bonuses and so forth. They're usually tied to how well the airline's bottom line is and how well the stock is doing. But his initial statement, more or less, threw jet fuel on the fire.
Yes.
When it said all he could have said is, "We are very disturbed about this. We're concerned about this. This is not how we want people in our airline to be treated, and we are going to make a careful and deliberate determination of the facts and act accordingly."
He fucked it up. He fucked it up. He fucked it up. And he was awarded Communicator of the Year. What do you think of his award as? Do you think he's a good communicator?
Well, I'm trying to think of the initial a Twitter release. Disaccommodated or something like that.
Reaccommodate. Reaccommodate.
Yeah. Typical corporate BS doublespeak.
Bullshit, so. Yes. It is, Clyde. And all I can say to United is it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of cunts. I really think they deserve everything they get. And all I can say is they're a suckful airline. They're a shit airline. They really are shit. They suck. And all I can say...
Are you saying they're the Marriott of the world's airlines? Are you willing to go that far?
Look, I got to tell you the truth there. I'm very fucking disappointed. I thought you boys in America would, you know, would be very, very proud of your airlines and your safety. It's all shit. United, you're a bunch of cunts. Oscar, he's a disgrace. He's a vile piece of shit as a human being. I've contacted him via LinkedIn and I've told him how I feel about him. And I said to him, I said, you're just a shit. You're just an absolute fucking piece of shit. I told him this. And
okay. But as Pontiff, did you have Jesus try to contact him directly? That's what I want to know. I miss Jesus.
Yes, yes. Look, it's just a disgrace. I'm so disappointed with United Airlines. It's just one of these that's what American corporate is. That's just so much full of bullshit. I worked for the KBR. The KBR was no different. They were no different to United. I mean, if they fired you or your something happened, they would escort you. They treated you like a fucking, this is what corporate America is like. They treat you like a fucking prisoner. They you know.
Corporations are like erections. They have no brains and no conscience.
Exactly. And I think it's time. I'm really the thing is that is disappointing is United, you know. That was one of the leading airlines of the world. This is how they treat people. It's just a disgrace, and it just shows you how the American. I remember the ads. You remember the ads for Branoff? Branoff in the 70s. You remember Branoff?
Branoff? Yes.
Yeah. That airline went guts up. You remember Branoff? They were a very cool airline.
Not to mention TWA as well, a long time before them. And the thing is, though, in the United States, they've given airlines a lot of discretion and a lot of coddling, really.
Yes, they have.
Like after Lockerbie, the FAA wanted to enact a lot of very strict security crackdowns to increase the safety of passengers. The airlines fought it, got their way until September 11th, 2001. Let's not anger the airlines.
Yeah. I don't know what to say anymore. Air travel used to be such a luxurious experience. It's turned into it's just nasty.
Well, I barely am old enough. Part of the age, you might be a little bit too young, but where people actually dressed like Suckerhorn to fly.
Yes. Yeah, I remember my dad used to fly everywhere. As a kid, we'd take him to the airport. He'd always dress up.
Mm-hmm.
This is in the 70s. And
Right.
he used to fly business class. He used to work in a development bank. And if you flew on a meal time, he used to get to the airport specially so he could go business class. And airports. I used to love. That's where my love for airports comes from. I remember as a kid taking him to the airport and then picking him up. It was just, they were magic. Now, air travel is like taking an Uber, isn't it?
Or a Greyhound bus.
You still have those Greyhound buses in America?
Oh, absolutely. Poor people got to go places too.
Are they much cheaper than an airline? I don't understand. I thought the tickets were. Are they much cheaper?
I haven't gone on a Greyhound bus since probably like '89 or something like that. But I remember it being a little bit cheaper than flying, but just taking forever. and just the most messed up people. And I'm not saying that everyone takes a bus is messed up.
No. I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I got to tell you the truth there. The most expensive, often the taxi to the airport is more expensive than the ticket.
Right.
Can you believe that?
Well, you mean the ticket that you and Suckerhorn got in Sydney, or?
It's in Melbourne. That's in Melbourne. Yes. That was okay. No, I mean, the taxi fare can be more expensive than sometimes you fly to Sydney, you get a discount ticket. The taxi to the airport, so this airport, you've got a shitty train, which is very expensive, which is just crappy. As you said, there's undesirables on it. Right. And I got to fucking tell you, it's really fucking disgraceful. It's really fucking disgraceful. And I've got to tell you honestly, I got to fucking be honest with you. It's sometimes your taxi fare can be more expensive than your fucking ticket. You get a discount ticket. It's just incredible. And air travel used to be so glamorous. I used to love flying. I loved it. Now you tend to hate it. You know what I mean?
That last one was me telling you to silence your phone.
I know. I've just done that. Thank you, Clyde. I got to be honest with you. This United disaster, all I can say is it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of cunts. And Oscar, you deserve it. It's karma. It's karma. It's Jesus coming to you, giving you karma because you're really a nasty fucking cunt in real life. You are a fucking horrible piece of shit as a human being. That's my view on it. That's why it's come to him. He's embraced that. And thankfully with him, I think he'll go down in history as the guy who fucked up United Airlines.
Or certainly saved a fair amount of value off of it.
Exactly. So, okay, fuckers, let's wrap this show up. We've got another live show. So, Clyde, thank you so much for coming on the program. And yes, if anyone wants to use this clip on Fox News or any CNN, please feel free.
No.
No. That's right. This is Archie's content. So you watch it on the ArchieLuxury channel. Thank you so much, Clyde. It's great having you on here, and thank you for dressing up.
I just got off work, Clyde. This is how I go to work.
Thank you.